The Muslims and Christians. Two religions supposedly for God, peace, love, compassion, and more. Now, both of these sides like to think that they're different and unlike each other, whether one being a demon-worshipping, vile, disgusting race, or the other being a terrible enemy of God. Either way, the Crusades, in a summary, are two religions with similar beliefs throwing shields at each other because they're angry at God for not getting enough love from one side or the other. And document A. Pope Urban II calls Muslims, and I quote, such a despised race which worships demons, and to destroy that vile race from the lands of our friends. Moreover, Christ commands it. Isn't that nice to say, huh? Basically, they just said that they're trying to take the sacred land and aren't very happy about it. On the other hand, the Muslims basically call the Christians their enemies of God. In document B, it says, if God blesses us by enabling us to drive his enemies out of Jerusalem, for Jerusalem has been controlled by the enemy for 91 years. Essentially, they're angry at Christians for having Jerusalem, and the Christians think it's their holy land, but the Muslims think it's their holy land, and are about to pelt shields at each other because of it. Now, if you'd like to draw your attention to the map in document C, you can see how the Muslims moved in their endeavor to gain influence on more and more people. A lot of it actually worked throughout the rest of the Middle East, starting from modern-day Saudi Arabia and outward. Yet they hit a bit of a wall called the Byzantine Empire. It held Constantinople, essentially a Christian stronghold. To conquer and enforce, they tried, but failed they did. The Christians held up quite the defense against the outside spreading influence of Islam to ensure that their power was in check and that they had the upper hand of the Western world from what it seems here. In document D, it helps explain the fact that the Muslims failed to overthrow Constantinople and take over the Christian view, explaining in the text and showing the religious lands of both sides, as well as the mighty Byzantine Empire holding up Christianity itself. Being able to withstand 5 years of siege by the Muslims holding out for what they knew was a strong offensive, considering how well the Islamic people were at spreading their religious views upon others, as previously shown in document C, and how they maneuvered. So the Christians were essentially fighting off the Muslims, spreading their religion, and the Muslims were trying to drive the Christians out of Jerusalem. So, they were fighting each other for the same thing, religious superiority, their holy land, and arguing that their side is against God, and who is worse. But in document E, it shows us the Great Quran. Let's take a look, shall we? Oh, what's this? It looks like the Bible 2.0. Yeah. Yet again, another similarity between the two. Everything that's in the Quran at least has a closely drawn similarity with Christianity, or is essentially extracted from it. But that sparked something else, such as why were they fighting? Because each thought it to be superior to the other, mostly because Christianity felt threatened by the radical Islamic movement and action taken against the East by storm with Muslims? But that's kind of obvious. Alright, let's take a look and draw a comparison between the Bible and the Quran. Basically, let's look at it. Let's look at the things that's in the Quran and let's see if it's in the Bible. Don't kill people. Yep, check. Devote yourself to God and God only. Check. Do good things. Follow the holy book and you go to heaven. Check. Don't steal. Check. You're only allowed to take self-defense and a right of arms if your life is threatened. Self-defense. Check. I think we get the point by now. Anyways, there's a lot that the Christian and Muslims have in common, coming back to the main point of similarities between the motives for fighting. After evaluation and analysis of all documents, it's quite clear that you can draw a conclusion that they both had their own vendettas against each other and were trying to argue the same point. Muslims are for God, and Christians are faithful to God, and Muslims worship the devil. Same thing, basically. Sure, you can say that it's opposition and thus different, and that's a very valid claim, seeing how they all have different stances on God and how to worship him. Though, we're talking about the sole and motivated reason for the Crusades, and if they had similar or different reasons. So, yes, they are slightly different, but that's why they both went to war over it. The fact that they thought Jerusalem was for their own side, the other religion was God's enemy, and that Christians were scared of Muslims spreading and inflicting their points on them, running the great Western world, but it didn't happen. Because of their offense on the military campaigns brought against them. So, in my eyes, they really are fighting for the same reason, with nothing but small differences, only based on perspective. The main part of the Crusades was just their points against each other. Every document so far supports it well, and it's the key main basis of why they fought. Kind of like how similar people don't get along too well. Either way, the Crusades was just two religions slapping one another with shields and chains based on the same reasons they started to fight each other. Thank you, and Guten Tag.